G'day, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 3 ways to get up close and personal with your clients. Now, one of the best kept secrets that only a very few small businesses know about is a brilliant little device called a persona creator. And what is a persona creator, you may ask? Well, before I answer, let me give you a little bit more about understanding your customers and introduce the first great way to get up close and personal with your clients. It's called segmentation. Now, let's say you're providing graphic design services to freelancers and small companies. Because your services can be accessed online, you actually don't need to be in the same geographical location. But it does help to be able to meet clients personally, because that seems to be the way that you get more business. They get to know, like, and trust you that way. So now you've identified 2 market segments that you're interested in. Local, let's say it's within driving distance, and remote, where you're connected online. And you know how to get to those people is going to be a little bit different. Now, things can segment even more. Maybe they're in food, but are they in the restaurant business, or are they doing online food deliveries, and so on. So as you identify which segment and which sub-segment you want to focus on, it can become a bit confusing, and you end up with vague stereotypes of flash restaurateurs and bearded mung bean foodies delivering green shit on eco-friendly skateboards. And actually, you may not be able to sell to everybody on the planet who wants graphic design work. You might have to get right down like this, which is where the second great way to get up close and personal comes in. It's called the persona creator that I mentioned earlier. What it does is it helps you to create a solid image of a real living person in your target segment who has what every real living person has: a name, a face, a set of circumstances. They have frustrations, they have desires, and guess what? They have a personality, amongst other things. Now, a persona creator uses research to build a picture of your ideal client. Now, here are 5 things to remember about this incredibly powerful tool. Number 1, the more data behind the information you put into the persona creator, the more accurate it will be. Personas are kind of like avatars representing those real living and breathing people who will actually engage with your services. And while people featured on a persona are kind of technically hypothetical, the information on the document should definitely not be hypothetical. All the sections need to be completed based on facts, hard data, and research. Okay? Second thing, talking to people who best epitomize your clients before you complete the template's really important, because it's your reality check. So send them emails, hop on calls, wander around and have a chat with them, run surveys and questionnaires. Whatever you need to do to get a reality check, do it. The third thing is to record and synthesize the information you've gathered, and then look for the common threads. You know, there might be 5 common repeating themes that are coming through, so pick those out. The fourth thing is to add your best views about what you've learned to your online persona creator document. Okay, and the fifth thing to remember is it's going to take effort, but it's worth it. It'll take digging. Okay, there's no escaping this, but the hard work that you do at the start, it's absolutely necessary, because when you put your user personas in place and when they are authentically completed, they become your go-to documents to ensure that every business, design, and marketing decision that you make resonates with your target customers. So you hit the target, ding, every time you shoot an arrow. Okay? So here are the elements of the client persona. We're going to whip through these pretty quickly. Title, first one. Manager is too general. Is she a senior manager? Does he have a passion project? So before setting on a title, think about the message that it sends audiences and the information that it conveys. So try and think of something compelling for the title. Image is the next thing. Give your persona a face that reflects the descriptions used throughout the template. Try and use a photo of a real consumer, not a cheesy, easily identifiable stock image, but something that actually resonates for you. Show the person in a space that shows where your product fits into their life. Like a picture of a life coach in his office talking to somebody, or somebody looking at the graphic design material that you've just prepared and they're looking at it on their desk. Okay, number 3, demographics. Now we're getting into the data. What's their job title? How long have they worked in that company? What level of management are they? Are they knowledgeable about their job? Are they an expert in the field, or are they just kind of minding the farm till somebody else comes along? These are the kind of things you want to think about. Next, you can look at their background. What's their career path? What's their current job? How did they get to where they actually are? And then you also want to look at what are they doing in their current job as much as you can. And then there's a few more identifiers like their business style, their communication preferences, and their self-description. You'll find all of this on the amazing online form that we've got for you to complete. Do they think deeply before they make decisions, or do they make them quickly? You know, are they, in terms of thinking fast and slow, are they cognitive ease? They make decisions quickly, or cognitive strain? They like to really think about things before they do them. Are they more action than assessment? Do they ask lots of questions, or do they make statements? So then the next thing to look at is what we call the tiers. Now the tiers section is one of the most important sections when it comes to defining a persona, because what they show is the level of engagement that users have with your product, or where they fall on what we'll call the adoption curve. Now the adoption curve is ranging from first-time users all the way through to late adopters, because you need to have a feel for where people that you're talking to are in relation to your services. And then beyond that, you're going to have the people who are repeat users, but you don't need to worry about them for your persona because you've already got them, if you like, inside the tent. Now, tiers can also refer to users' level of commitments to your products. You've got free users, you've got paid users, and you've got enterprise users, as you will see when you go to lots of programs that you can buy on a subscription basis. So, you know, you're basically using the stuff that very, very large online organizations do, and you're actually bringing it into your persona maps so that you have a really clear idea of who it is that you're talking to. Now, I recommend making different personas to represent each varying tier, so that once again you can segment your users by where they are on the journey. Are you right at the start of the customer journey, and so you're focusing on awareness, or you're at the other end of the funnel with these people and you're aiming to convert them so that they buy your product? This is how powerful a persona map can be. It can actually help you decide exactly where you're aiming for. The next thing, number 7, is to look at personality traits. Who is your user? What are their key personality traits? Try and round out their overall image. The most useful personality traits for this purpose are the ones that describe how they make decisions. Whether they're introvert or extrovert is kind of less useful, but you know, it's very popular, so everybody wants to put Myers-Briggs on everything. Not me. Okay, so now there are 2 critical parts of the persona. Do they take time to consider decisions, or do they act quickly based on instinct? I mentioned it earlier, thinking fast and slow, okay? This is something that every human being does, one or the other, and they don't do both. Will they trust you quickly, or is it going to take multiple contacts and time to build up that trust? Do they need lots of touch points with you before they decide to trust you? Or do they go, yeah, that looks pretty good, I'll do that. So, you describe the persona in a couple of words based on their personality, their work ethic, their motivations, and their priorities. Are they an energetic, outgoing self-starter, or are they a driven but disorganized introvert? On to number 8, which is goals. What's your persona looking for? A complete service that achieves a specific goal, for example? Or do they just want bits and pieces of what you've got to offer? These questions are critical, once again, to shaping your service offering. Now, most persona goals should be end goals, goals about what the persona ultimately achieves by using your product or service. This could be something tangible like a beautiful advertisement or a sleek web page, or it could be an intangible goal like increased confidence if you're a life coach, for example. Number 9, make sure I get the right fingers out here, is challenges and frustrations. What challenges are preventing your persona from achieving his or her goals? What concerns do they have? What are their frustrations with current solutions already available? Now, this section is really key when it comes to, if you like, honing the features and sharpening up the services that you're going to provide. Number 10 is, what can we do? How can you help them to overcome their challenges and meet their goals? Be specific and honest about whether you actually have what they need now, or you're going to have to modify it. If you focus on what inspires your persona to take action, then you can craft your messages to trigger the behavior that you want from them. Are they motivated more by fear or growth? Are they motivated by achievement or power? Show that, and then you will understand how they think. Okay, now we move on to quotes. And this is really important as well. Capture the persona's attitude towards your product or services. Why is he or she interested in what you've got to offer him? What type of solutions is the persona looking for? What matters most to them? Don't just write down answers. Use quotes or comments from your customer interviews, your surveys, and your questionnaires, because then you are getting a real response from people about what you've got to offer. But you put it in as a statement from them, and that'll help you remember what it is that they really are looking for. Okay, number 12, what are their objections? What kind of marketing message do you need? What kind of elevator pitch? All of these things are on the form. Why wouldn't they buy your services and products? You need to be really honest about that. How should you describe your products and services to them to inspire them to try and buy? These days, people are less turned on by all the fabulous benefits. They want to actually know what your services can realistically do for them. So your marketing messages need to resonate about that. What short message or pitch from you about your products and services would they want to hear that would interest them in finding out more? If you like, that's your elevator message. Now, having putting all that to one side, we're now going to talk about another aspect called empathy mapping. So, you've got to use a persona. Now you have a really good and fairly accurate idea of who you want to address all your marketing messages to. But you can actually go one step further, and believe me, when you get into this territory, you are leaving so many freelancers and small business owners behind, because this is what the big professional companies do, and that's what we're advising you to do. You can now climb into the heads of your ideal clients by creating an empathy map, which is the third great way to get up close and personal with your clients. Now, you might think this is about woo-woo, but believe me, it's really powerful. And once again, research helps here. Imagine you're sitting in the head of your ideal client and you just answer these questions, and it's as simple as this. Who am I empathizing with? What do I need to do about my frustrations? What am I hearing? What am I thinking and feeling? What do I see? What do I say? What do I do? Now, first couple of times you go through this, you're going to feel really weird, but after a while you get into it. And once you've done that, you will have an amazing picture built up around your ideal client that you'll be able to talk very powerfully to him or her about what it is that you've got to offer. And I guarantee you will be in the top 1% of your service profession, because nobody else will have put in the same amount of work as you have to, 1, segment the market, 2, create amazing client personas, which are incredibly accurate, and 3, knowing how those clients think, feel, and act. So, good on you. That's it. So if you like this topic, we have an upcoming online course that will teach you in detail everything you need to know to get on your feet and start a business using your skills from scratch. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because it'll support the channel. And if there's anything you'd like for me to talk about, drop it in the comments. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be part of the notification squad to get notified every time we upload, because I respond to questions in the first hour. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll catch you later.